Good evening, everybody. A warm welcome to one and all present here on behalf of Chinmay Academy for Civil Services and Tanvas. We welcome you all for this program. So I would like to introduce the speaker, Mr. Subramaniam, IRAS retired. So Sri Subramaniam has MPhil in Public Administration from International Institute of Public Administration, France, and was deputed for extensive study tour in Europe and China. He is IRAS retired and a former additional member of Railway Board. Mr. Subramaniam was elected twice to the prestigious Indian Police Service, but chose to continue in the IRAS due to his love for railways. He retired as additional member of Railway Board, Government of India. It was during his stint as a civil servant that he gave certain recommendations to the Alag Committee on the importance of ethics and integrity in public servants while he was senior professor, National Academy for Indian Railways. Ultimately, there is now a separate paper on ethics and integrity. He held many senior positions, including financial advisor and chief accounts officer in Southern Railways, an integral coach factory, and was also a division railway manager, Trichy. And he is a member of the expert panel of UPSC. So I invite Mr. Subramaniam to take over the session on current affairs and newspaper reading. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you, sir. Before the speaker takes over, I just want to inform that I think sir must be knowing one of our alumni, Dr. KP Anand is also an IRS. Now he is in the headquarters at Trivandrum.
A large number of veterinary doctors in my service, and
yes,
I'm
sir.
happy they are doing excellently well.
Thank you, sir.
One of my deputies in the Railway Board Executive Director was one Dr. Tanveer Ahmed. He was
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A doctor from IVRA Karnal.
Yeah.
It was unthinkable. So welcome to this session, my young friends and civil service aspirants. You know, it's a very happy thing. In my days, it was unthinkable that veterinary doctors would aspire to become civil servants. Possibly it is only about 10 years later, the first veterinary doctor qualified in the thought of seriously trying for the civil service, qualified, and we have now maybe several dozens of veterinary doctors, agricultural scientists in the civil service. This country is very uniquely placed. We have the richest wealth in terms of arable land, agriculture, and we have the richest bovine wealth in terms of animal husbandry resources. Now, what I'm trying to say is both the agricultural scientists and veterinary doctors have a very key potential role. There is so much that can be done in terms of monetizing these resources. The percentage of people who are engaged in agriculture or in animal husbandry is so large. The output is so small, disproportionately small. This is the irony. But at once, this irony is also the challenge. So you have a great background in terms of resources which you can harness. Whether you work as veterinary doctors or you get into the public service and use that knowledge. Animal husbandry, fisheries, agriculture, they're all now dedicated departments in the central government. You have a secretary, you have a ministry, you have a minister. So these are becoming increasingly important ministries. So I am glad you're all thinking beyond the borders of the framework of merely of only becoming veterinary doctors. It's good. So I am glad you're thinking beyond the formal framework of only becoming veterinary doctors. So civil service offers a great opportunity in addition to the obvious option that you have, that is to become veterinary scientist and so on. So now I come to the topic of the day, which is current affairs newspapers. The very name current affairs, the word current suggests something very important. Current means present. Current means now. Even the term current as it applies to electricity what keeps moving, what keeps things going. See, in an electrical circuit, if there is a disruption, if there is no current, there is no use having the best gadget. Similarly, present, if you lose track of the present, past is gone, future is uncertain. Current, present is now and here. It is most important. So that is why current affairs, nothing can be more important than a proper perspective, a proper foundation in current affairs. So you can look at the slides. I will not repeat what is there in slides. I will explain in simple, in my own words. The slides are there for you to see, and you can recall whenever you want. So it is very important to get a strong foundation in current affairs. As I have said in the third bullet point, if your foundation in current affairs is strong, if things go well, very likely everything else will go well. And the opposite is true also. Next slide, please. So what does current affairs do? Actually, it gives you a cross-sectional view. It's in a nutshell, it tells you what is going on in the environment, in the world around. It connects you with the rest of it. Just as in an electrical circuit, if the current which flows around through a circuit, likewise, current affairs connects you with the world around. The most important requirement of a civil servant is intelligent awareness, as I said, being connected, being informed, being properly informed, having a good awareness of what is happening, what are the challenges, what are the problems. So only then a civil servant, a public servant can relate to the challenges, relate to his role actually, which is serving the public. And the most important element of serving the public is socio-economic development, inclusiveness, and things like that. Yeah, so current affairs highlights the nature and dimension of these challenges. So good requirement of current affairs, keeping up to date, keeping is most vital. Next slide. Next slide. Vidya? So coming to the importance of current affairs vis-a-vis the UPSC exam. You see, it is interesting. Current affairs is a running theme. It is important at all stages. Preliminary stage, it is important during the mains. It is important during the interview or the personality test. What is more? It is more important. It is equally important and more important when you become a civil servant. So current affairs is something which remains constant. It is of its importance right through. And you have a strong grounding in current affairs. It gives you that much support, and it strengthens your preparation for the other subjects, namely the other general studies subjects, the essay paper, the paper on ethics and integrity, and even your optionals. Even in the optionals, take history. If there is a question on some subject, there will be some linkage with what is happening. So you're able to relate that. You're able to comprehensively, mold your answer. It reflects that much better when the examiner reads it. Next slide. So we come to the strategy for studying current affairs. We have to be a little more specific. Just saying current affairs, keep track, is not enough. You have to be focused. So I am now trying to focus on how you really strategize, how you organize, how you schedule, how do you tackle this issue. So current affairs is very vast. It is a vast ocean. There's so much of information. Today, we have what is called an explosion of information. In fact, it's becoming too much. You cannot just keep track. In my time, earlier days, about 30 years ago, when we prepared for the civil service, 35 years ago, in 1980 is good 40 years ago. So we were not accessing so much, not available in the first place. So we just had the newspaper. We didn't even have the TV. You're just getting started. There were not so many publications. That is how it was. But today, It's a surfeit of information. So it is very important. You can't, calculate all. It becomes impossible to exhaustively look at everything. And once you start doing it, you get lost. It is not necessary also. So the most important element of the strategy for the current affairs preparation is to be selective, to know how to prioritize or how to do a segmentation, how to pick up what is important, how to separate the chaff from the grain, so to say. Now, when you do a threshing of paddy or wheat, on one side you have the grain separating out, on the other side you have the chaff. So you must be able to separate what is relevant, what you need to focus on, and what you need to ignore. The next slide. We will see how that is done. Next slide. So now we look at sources of the current affairs. How do you pick up? How do you decide what you must zero in on, what you must focus on? So first of all, you must choose something which is authentic, credible. Otherwise, there's so much of false, negative reporting, so much of paid news these days, so to say. There's so much of, along with the professional, there is unprofessional aspect of media also, because everywhere this exists. So we have to be careful. The second important point is we need something which has a vision, a broad vision, not a very narrow vision of reporting something which is very parochial, pandering to sensationalism. No, we need something which is comprehensive, which has got a vision, which is objective, and which recognizes the fact that we are all interconnected, we are highly interdependent, and the world is becoming a very small place. They say the world is a global village these days. So the source of current affairs should have both a national perspective and an international perspective. Therefore, you must choose something like the Hindu, which has got a standing of 100 plus years. Times of India, which has got a standing of 134 years or 135 years or whatever. So you choose a very, very outstanding national daily like the Hindu or the Times of India. I would suggest reading both Hindu and the Times of India. Next slide. Vidya. See, as I was mentioning to you, the world is increasingly becoming economically interdependent. Trade, monetary policy. There are Indians investing in America. There are American financial agencies investing in the Indian stock market. There is commodity trading. There's all kinds of things happening. So finance and economics also are becoming day-to-day affairs. They are becoming, they are touching the lives of all of us. It is no longer that only the finance professionals need to know about finance. No. So economic and financial literacy is becoming important for all of us to a certain degree. I'm not saying you become an expert, no. But the financial and economic knowledge that I used to have 30 years ago, 40 years ago, now we require to know much more. If you need to be intelligent, if you need to be aware, if you need to be connected, intelligently aware, you need to be connected to what is happening. So what I would suggest is you read a economic or a financial daily also, besides the general newspapers such as Hindu or Times of India. What could it be? It could be the Business Line, which is again published by the Hindu, or it could be the Economic Times, which is published by the TOI, Times of India Group. Yeah. And then besides that, there are some standard publications which summarize important. You can't do everything yourself. You must make use of convenient aids available. No point, as they say, reinventing the wheel. So there are small summaries available on a weekly basis, monthly basis, like GK Today. And Chinmaya, our own academy, publishes a summary of current affairs called Chinmaya IAS Telegram channel. And a few more are available. You can check from the net, and pick up some good standard current affairs summaries, which give you in a nutshell what is happening. You can keep that as a backup also. Yeah. Next. Yeah. Yeah. So now coming to the segmentation, how do you put them in separate boxes so that you can focus on? So current affairs, obviously, as I said earlier, you have national, international, global issues, you have national issues, you have regional issues. So among them, you can have economic issues, socio-economic issues, environmental issues, technology issues. This is basically this aligns with your general studies paper. You have one general studies paper where you have economic issues, history, geography. Then in another you have science and technology, environmental issues. Then in another paper you have the political, constitutional issues, the socio-economic issues, and so on. And then you have the essay paper and the paper on ethics. These are the compulsory papers which everyone has to answer. You're aware of it all. And there are some current affairs subjects which which have backward and forward linkages. They will remain current all the time. They will be in the news periodically. They don't die away. There are several issues. Now, for instance, look at the Ayodhya issue. It has been there for such a long time. Look at the reservation issue. It has been there for such a long time. The Sachar committee, the Mandal, and once again today, now there is a new legislation about OBCs. So they're all the time in the news. You must pay special attention to the linkages. So it is not one-off. It is a continuing theme. So you must be able to relate to how it developed and what is the likely trajectory it will take in the future. Then there are some news, which have news value, but not much. They appear only as a one-off or as a flash, and they do not have long-term implications. So obviously, you have to give importance to the former, which means those issues which are so important that they keep appearing in the news. There are backward and forward linkages. Next slide. As I said earlier, it is necessary to sift the chaff from the grain. You must weed out information from news. Information is not of much use. I find yesterday there was some news about how many COVID cases. What was the recovery rate yesterday? What is the positivity rate yesterday? Okay, it is. You spend a minute, it's okay. Beyond that, it has got no news value. It is only information value. When you start reading the newspaper, the first step would be to mark out what you're going to read and what you may largely ignore. Most important. So you can't read everything. You must allot about 1.5 to 2 hours for current affairs. It is reasonable. You may allot a little more depending on how much. There are some people who say they put in 12 hours a day. There are some people who say they put in 8 hours a day. See, the capacity for work varies. So you can't straitjacket everybody and say all of you have to work 12 hours if you want to succeed. I will not say that. I know people who have worked 6 hours a day who have done brilliantly. I know people who have done 12 hours a day who after 3 attempts have given up. So it is not possible to one size does not work here. There are people for whom span of attention, their concentration is superb. 6 hours for them is equal to 10 hours for somebody else with less of focus. So, okay. So, depends. But then I would suggest at least 1.5 to 2 hours. So 2 hours can be broken up if you want to reduce. If your attention span is such, monotony, your threshold for monotony is low. All right, 1 hour in the morning, the forenoon, 1 hour in the afternoon. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. You see, Hindu September 8th, yesterday. All of you have read the Hindu yesterday? I suppose so. I didn't pick up today's newspaper because today some of you may not have had time. I have done a little bit of, I have done a mock preparation kind of thing for today's discussion, just to give you a sample, a feel of it. This is the front page. Obviously, the front page, the headlines are important. So that is why it is getting reported. That is why it is called headlines. I have marked out in blue. So how many articles? 1, 2. Yeah. COVID-19 doses crossed 70 crores. I have not marked. There's no point. It is only it has no value. Tamil Nadu CM announces hike in DA. It is more of a happy news for the Tamil Nadu government staff. It is not so important for us. So Pegasus, very important, because Pegasus is about cyber security. It is about right to privacy. It has got a lot of ramifications. Afghanistan, it is very important because Afghanistan has been in the news. Not from now, from British days, Afghanistan is a problem child. Afghanistan has been a tough nut to crack. So Afghanistan is the news. Taliban will continue to be the news because Taliban is a great puzzle. Nobody has been able to understand why the Russians came in, the Americans came in, the British tried. Nobody has been able to crack the Afghan puzzle. It is a very difficult kind of geopolitical problem. So that is why it is a very important subject for us. Yeah, next slide. Next slide, ma'am. Look at the guaranteed crop prices. See this farm laws. This is something to do with farm laws. The article on top and the article down below. Panel report on farm laws not. There was a panel appointed by the Supreme Court. They have submitted the report. They were given 2 months time. They were given very stiff target. Now the report has been submitted. The committee is now crying hoarse that we were given 2 months. We submitted the report and they are sitting tight on it. To at least release the contents of the report, public should know so that they are informed. You can have the public participation also. Then comes data protection bill, very important. So look at how many articles I have marked. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 3 plus 2, 5. Yeah, next page. Next slide. Next slide, ma'am. Then there is another slide I have marked. PM address private sector to help improve quality in government schools. A very important topic. There is something called a new education policy, NEP. You are aware of it. So a lot of reforms have been taking place in the educational field. India has got a real serious issue about the quality of education, about literacy levels, about school dropout levels. So this is something which is receiving attention at the highest level. Here is the Prime Minister saying something. So Prime Minister doesn't speak about everything. Whenever he speaks, it is very important. That is why I have marked this article. So this article also must pick up. So I think I have marked 3 plus 1, 4 plus 2, 6 or 7. That's all. Next slide. Yeah. So I have picked up 7, 8 topics from the newspaper yesterday for serious study. Barring these 7, the rest of it I find is only information, or it is just a flash. It has got no value beyond that. It is just to give you information about what happened to whom, and that's it. So having identified these topics, what do you do next? Next is you must read them seriously. It is not just, you just glance at it and then you say, put it down. No, slow reading. First step is slow reading and maybe a second reading. Even today, when I try to read, because I interact with students in the Chinmaya Academy, I handle some subjects. So I have to prepare for it. So when I speak of current affairs, some topics, I do a second reading. I don't simply read once and make up my mind. I do a careful second reading. After all, some expert has thought about it, has done analysis, has done research, and he has put down his thoughts seriously, work. So it is, you must take in slowly, you must mull over it, digest it, and then you must reflect on it. So once you do a slow reading, a second reading if necessary, you will get a good grasp of it. So the second step is to reflect, analyze, and internalize. What do you mean by internalize? It must become yours. So good comprehension. You understand the interconnection, the linkages, so that it doesn't stay in the newspaper, it stays in your mind. The print transfers, it gets etched in your mind. It gets stored in your memory, in the way you want, the way you have understood. So the third step is the ability to present and communicate. First is you have read, you have grasped. Second is you have analyzed, you have internalized, you have made it your own. But then who knows? You must be able to tell people what you have understood. You must be able to express, and you must be able to communicate. What does a civil servant do? He understands policy of the government. He understands aspirations of the people. He connects the aspirations of the people with policymakers. He is an intermediary. Communication is the most important skill that I know of. You need not be a technical wizard. Technical knowledge you can borrow, but communication skills you cannot borrow. You follow? That is why it's very important that you're able to summarize, communicate. Next. So how do you develop a skill of communication? Communication is of two types. It is oral, verbal communication skill and the written communication skill. The verbal communication skill, all right. No, it comes a little later. But then as far as the exam is concerned, it is the written communication skill, which is important. So get into the habit of maintaining a date-wise diary. So current affairs, it does not stop with reading, grasping, understanding. It extends beyond that. So if you want a proper grounding foundation in current affairs, start maintaining a diary on a daily basis. The same format: global issues, national issues, regional issues, state issues. Same subdivision: socio-economic, environment, technology. So these are the broad, areas in which you can put them down. So when you write down your own words, how do you present it? Take Pegasus, take Taliban, about what you have read. So yeah, introduction, some analysis, finally a conclusion is necessary. The conclusion, you must be able to, give your perspective. Nobody wants to know what was reported in the newspaper, particularly in the examination when you write an essay or even a question where they ask you to write 250 words. If you say what you think, and it reflects capacity to analyze. Earlier there used to be, in my time, there used to be a question called précis writing. They will give you a passage of 2-3 pages. You must read that, then you must summarize. So it is something similar. That used to be a very good thing. It gave us a lot of practice and skill. But today, the same thing is tested in terms of asking you to write questions of 250 pages, 250 words, 150 words, and so on. Yeah, next slide. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah, another big advantage of writing the diary is that it helps in quick revision. So you need not really look back, maintain a collection of all the cuttings or the newspapers, go do a cumbersome search. So a quick revision is possible when you have things written down in a diary. When you read, analyze, and write down, it is important to record key statistics. Key statistics are very important. You need not give a lot of information in terms of figures, but key things like what is the literacy rate in India, which state has got the maximum literacy, what is the contribution of animal husbandry to GDP, what is the contribution of agriculture. Broadly, you ask me, I know today, but you must remember these key statistics and keep using them whenever you find them in the newspaper, you must write down so that it becomes, you're able to keep looking at it and it gets stored in your memory. You have a fairly good idea. Agriculture, there are, to give you a simple example, agriculture, nearly half the population, more than half the population, 60% of population are engaged in agriculture. What is the contribution to GDP? Very skewed. It is just 25% at best. So you must have very important statistics like this in your noted down in a diary so that you comes in handy. Then you must also record landmark judgments, pronouncements, but of the Apex Court. High Court is not possible because there are so many of them. Apex Court, when it comes to right to freedom, right to privacy, fundamental rights, then the famous Indira Sawhney judgment, which is about the OBC, the Sachar committee. Such things are very important. You must have them noted, and you can also quote them because they are landmark judgments. Yeah. Then it's very important that you, to the extent possible, you keep a record of sayings of eminent people, personalities, and statesmen. Mahatma Gandhi. There are so many sayings. They're just 2 lines. Sometimes only 1 line. You must become the change. For instance, what did Gandhi say about change? You must become the change that you want to see. You can't preach change. Walk the talk. You show change by your willing, your desire for change by changing first. So such sayings of great personalities comes in handy, and you can use them also in your essays, in your paragraph questions. Next slide, please. See, then it's a very important thing I come to. You're all here in Tamil Nadu. You're studying here in the veterinary the university. So if I am in Tamil Nadu, obviously the expectation is that I will know, fairly, I'll have fairly good exposure, understanding of issues in this state, rather than in Assam or Meghalaya. So if there is an issue in Meghalaya about what is happening, Meghalaya, they have problem of floods, or they have problem of incursions. They have what is called an inner line permit issue. They have a problem of NRC is an issue there for various reasons. You would be excused if you don't have in-depth knowledge. But if you don't have an in-depth knowledge about Jallikattu, the evolution of Jallikattu, the various the litigation, the ordinance, the issue now in being the Supreme Court. So how now Jallikattu is getting regulated? So what is the issue about? You will not be pardoned. Likewise, if you're a student of veterinary science, you would need to know in depth about animal husbandry, about zoonotic diseases, transmission, various schemes of the government, the IVRI. The veterinary science government is encouraging a lot of facilities, the huge lot of infrastructure available. I myself have had the opportunity of seeing a few places. Only a few years ago, I went to the Camel Research Institute. So what a tremendous effort they are doing. I saw a gentleman who came riding on a camel all the way from Central Asia. So you have a lot of things going on there. So then you have a wood research institute, you have a sheep research institute, then you have poultry research, then you have fisheries, then you name it, there is some activity, there is some encouragement, there is some institutional scheme. You must know all about that. And you must know about India's unique placement in terms of having the largest bovine population, what ails the Indian dairy industry. We are the largest producers of milk, but productivity is very small. Which country excels in productivity? Israel is supposed to have the record. Why not India? There is a breed called Sahiwal, Sahiwal is in Pakistan, but then originally we all part of. So Sahiwal compares productivity compares with the best Western breeds. Why is it we have not been able to propagate? So you must have a good grounding in these subjects, because It is your own Swadharma, it is your own area. You cannot have any excuses for not having in-depth knowledge. So you must pay attention to your own area and your own state, regional issues. Yeah, next. In other words, you must keep track of all developments in your field. So if you approach current affairs in this manner, you will build a strong foundation. You will develop competencies in areas like essay writing, in ethics and integrity, and most importantly for your personality test. You see, when you're properly informed, you get confidence, you get enthusiasm, you get energy. You're able to look the other person in the eye. But you know what you need to know. You can face somebody asking you questions. And invariably, if your preparedness in current affairs is good, your essay paper is done. Because invariably topics in the essay paper are based on current affairs. They are not based on technical issues. Nobody is going to ask you technical questions on veterinary science or agricultural science. No, essay is all about current affairs, topics which are of common importance. Next. To give you a sample, see, the CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, again the spirit of Indian Constitution. What are the social and economic? It has all been in the news. Last 2 years, it has been in the news constantly. I told you, a backward linkage, forward linkage. CAA was in the news. Today it is again in the news because of Afghanistan. The very same people who oppose CAA today are talking about CAA vis-a-vis Afghanistan as a good measure. India at 75. So much has happened. How has India evolved over 75? It is the largest democracy in the world. Stable democracy. How much of poverty alleviation has taken place? How much of what is the incremental terms of GDP? What has been the improvement in health parameters, longevity? Vast progress we have made. We are today in terms of size of economy, we are today ranked. We are the 5th largest economy in the world. 1947, where were we? You should know all these things. This is all current affairs. Mob lynching. Basically, mob lynching is about law and order. Article 370 abrogation, Kashmir. It was in the news. It is again in the news today. Feminism, gender issues, women's reservation. These are all the time, in the news. They are important topics which we keep reading about off and on. Higher education versus skill acquisition. Skill acquisition, now there is a Ministry of Skill Development. It is assumed very important role in the NDA 2 in the present government. So there's a new education policy. They say we have large number of engineers who cannot be employed. So there are aberrations, there are problems. Why is it? So how do we make people more employable? So these are all issues which are being tackled. The new education policy, which has just been adopted recently by some governments, some state governments, yet to be done by many governments. These are all issues which are in current affairs, and they are directly linked to these essay topics. Next slide, please. Yeah, some more essay topic. Entrance exam versus qualifying exam. What is the relevance of entrance exam? NEET. There is a NEET is nothing can be more controversial and emotive than NEET in Tamil Nadu. Scrapping of section 377 about human rights. Pro-poor policies of Modi government, which is about reservation. There is an economic 10% reservation for the economically backward, which is again been challenged in the court. So these are all current affairs issues. Controversy surrounding the present NDA. Now there is a lot of charges the NDA government is not inclusive, that they are too much of a rightist government. They are pro-capitalist. There are a handful of capitalists who are benefiting by all the policies, farm bill, monetization, the GST, so on and so forth. Relevance of Supreme Court decision to decriminalize crime of adultery. Recently in the news, landmark judgment, the whole adultery law has been repealed. Worsening Indian rupee. Worsening Indian rupee is a subject of economics, but now concerning all of us. So when the Indian rupee becomes weak, what do? You go on importing oil, you go on paying more and more for oil. We have to pay 100 rupees a liter for petrol. So petrol was selling at in 1975. What is the cost of petrol? It's selling at 4 rupees, 5 rupees. Today it's selling at 100 rupees. The impact of increasing oil prices in the Indian economy. So these are all issues which you keep reading off and on. They are there in the current affairs constantly, and they are topics for essay. So you have a good foundation. Current affairs. Previous year. COVID-19 accelerated class inequality, poverty in India. COVID has been in the news. It will continue to be in the news. It is something which has happened after how many years? After 100 years. When was the last pandemic of this dimension? The Spanish flu. Digital initiatives in India contributed to functioning of education system in India. Okay, this has also been in the news, particularly with reference to work from home and the online schooling. It's been a mixed kind of experience. They say 30 to 40% of India does not have access to digital net systems, so they are left out. And I think today's newspaper, today perhaps, has a very, very scary statistic. They say in rural areas in India, more than 30% of children have dropped out of school because of COVID. Yeah, next. Next slide. The General Studies 2 paper, National Education Policy. Look, Sustainable Development Goal, role of WHO, the Quad is Australia, Japan, US, and India. How it is transforming itself into a trade bloc or a military alliance. So what exactly is happening? How is it? What was the trigger which has led to this Quad suddenly becoming so important? Indo-US deals, Indo-Russian deals, so how, all along we were very strongly dependent on Russia. Now there is a slight realignment, so to say. We are now perhaps outwardly, the perception is we are veering away from extreme dependence on the Russian military alliances. We are now looking at other sources. So these are all current affairs issues which are also important from the point of view of the general studies paper. Yeah, next. GS3, environment, Jal Shakti Abhiyan, cyber crime. Then you have the border management, disaster management, goods and service tax. You will be able to do very well in these questions if you have good knowledge of current affairs. You won't be able to get ready-made answers for these from textbooks. That is essentially what I'm trying to convey. You have separate inputs available, which the subject teacher will tell you, but then that won't be enough. You need to supplement with whatever you read from the current affairs area. Next. Next slide. Irrigation, water resources, COVID, solar energy, which is a science and technology subject. Now, we have huge initiative that is going on under the National Solar Initiative. India is already doing very well. We have an alliance with France also. We have huge installed capacity in solar power. But the bottleneck is solar panels. We don't have adequate manufacturing capacity in solar panels. We're dependent essentially on imports. This is one area which is getting tackled. There is a new scheme called PLI. For those of you who have been following the news, it has been launched just about 3-4 months back to encourage indigenous manufacture of solar wafers, solar panels, so that it strengthens our solar energy initiative. Yeah, next. Yeah. Now, I come to the actual process of reading a newspaper. So you look at the Hindu, it has got about 15, some days it goes up to 25, 28 pages. Not possible to read everything. As I said, most of it is information value and no value in terms of UPSC preparation. So the headlines, front page, I already mentioned that. Next is everyday basis. I have not marked it because every day you have to do it. The editorial cannot be skipped. The editorial sums up the most important issues. After all, the editors of Hindu and the editors of Times of India are very eminent people, highly regarded. So they have a very competent editorial team, pick up very important issues which are of great concern to the public, to public at large, and to all of us as citizens. So you read the editorial, gives you a very balanced perspective. The editorial does not necessarily concur with what is happening from the government side. There is criticism, but then it is tempered. It is not sweeping. It is balanced. So most important, read the editorial. Likewise, you read the articles on the opposite page, which is called the op-ed page, OPED, op-ed page. So it can have immense value. Then there are specialized periodical news and articles. Next slide. Yeah. What are the specific pages? They're dedicated to business. They're dedicated to national news and South in the Hindu. So you must read all that. And then the Chennai news, not so important. Chennai news, you will find how many potholes, what is the COVID rate yesterday? No. What is happening in T Nagar Plaza? The pedestrian plaza is getting built up in T Nagar. Likewise, they're going to do one in Madhavaram in North Chennai. It's only information. Don't waste and spend time on it. So besides the daily pages, there are weekly specialized articles, which are very important. And they talk about policy formulation, talk about reform, structural issues. So if you look at Times of India, you have pages called Times Global, Times Nation, Times Region, and Times City. Times City is Chennai. So by and large, nothing much in it. So Times Global, very important. Times Nation also. Times Region also, in that order. Next. So I give you some important, the specialized articles. Sunday, you have what is called FAQ. Every Sunday, you find there is one page, a big article called FAQ. What is FAQ? Frequently asked questions. Sunday, when, why, what, who, and where. Dispatches, profile, science and tech. All these are the titles which appear on Sunday. Then on Friday, you have a page called Parley. What is Parley? Parley is actually a French word. Parley means talking. Yes, no, it is complicated. So you have 3 different views, saying yes, this is how it is. No, I don't agree, then there is something, yeah, a midway kind of opinion. So all that is brought out. Saturday ground zero, Monday education plus. You must read all this. Next. Times, when you come look at Times of India, I have brought out the various important captions. Expressive Ideas Daily. It's a very important article which appears in the middle section. South Pole, Politics, Society and Culture. Serious articles by eminent people, comes on daily basis. Times Techies comes on Wednesday. Speaking Tree comes on Saturday. All That Matters, very important, Sunday. E.T. Panache comes on Sunday. You must have a look at these articles. Thought for the Day, Sacred Space. Thought for the Day is, as I said, saying by eminent people. We'll go through them. Some of them are very short. They make a striking impact. Keep a note of them. Sacred Space is about why I am suggesting sacred spaces. It will strengthen your knowledge for integrity, ethics and integrity paper. Next. So there is no shortcut for acquiring competence in current affairs. My session today, what is my role? I am only an activator. I, a catalyst. So I have can activate. Who has to act? You have to act. I cannot do the action on your part. So I am only a facilitator. I am an activator. God of God, keep on praying doesn't mean things are going to happen. Prayer is only an activation. You must do the action part of it. Remember that success comes before work only in the dictionary. You have to put in work, and success follows like the day follows the night. This is a basic rule. This is a fundamental rule. This rule will never go wrong. If success has not happened, your work was not adequate. Key to winning is steady and consistent work. Not working in a flash. Steady and consistent work, a smart strategy, which means adhering to a discipline. So most important thing is discipline. Strategy would mean schedule. You decide how much you're going to work, 8 hours. Be sincere about it. Not for the sake of telling others. You need not tell anyone. You have to be accountable to yourself, first of all, if you want to win, whether it's civil service or elsewhere. Allotment of time. So you have a schedule, which means basically you have 8 hours, and then the 8 hours is broken up into subunits. You have 8 subjects, or you're doing 6 subjects. You allot this much time for each, depending upon the importance. Prioritizing topics, reading, analyzing, internalizing, and writing, which is why I have talked about that earlier also. It is important to keep doing a self-review. You can't, after all, what does the exam do? It only does a review of your preparedness. So you can't say, my first review will take place in the examination hall, and the examiner will review what I have done. There's no use. You must be your examiner. If not on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you must critically judge how much distance you have traveled. What is the distance remaining to be covered? How have you fared? To what extent have you been able to adhere to the milestones? What is the shortfall? How are you going to do your course correction? So once you do a review, a stock taking, where you are, what is the distance traveled, and what lies ahead. So you will not falter. I'm sorry for the spelling. It's a small mistake in the spelling. It is F-A-L-T-E-R, not F-A-U-L-T-R. You will not derail. I'm a railwayman, so I like to use the word derail. So you will never get derailed. And even if you get derailed, all right, you must be able to re-rail yourself. You must be able to put back yourself on the rail, so to say. And whatever happens, anything may happen, never give up. Always stay positive. You may fall, but you must get up. You must once again launch yourself into action, into consistent work energetically and positively. Once you do that, success is yours, and this is what I have to suggest to you, to recommend to you, and to tell you in terms of how you could make your current affairs study smooth and effective. So all the best to you. It is a great pleasure talking to youngsters like you. This is my first interaction with veterinary doctors. As I said, my own colleagues have had a lot of veterinary doctors. It is always a pleasure dealing with them, because it is a very important field, which all along nobody really thought it was so important. But today, I'm happy it has come to the limelight, and youngsters like you in that field are wanting an important role in public service. So, which is very good for society. As I said earlier, animal husbandry is going to be so important. Agriculture, animal husbandry, going to be so important for this country, because we have tremendous resources and potential which are vastly untapped, and that is where our future lies. Thanks a lot, and my best wishes.
Thank you, sir. Subramanian sir, it was so nice of you. It was very, very interesting to listen to your talk today on the current content and newspaper reading. And I would say here that you also should be agreeing that the current generation people are not very much towards reading newspapers. So probably with the advent of all these technologies like Google or whatever it is, everybody is going immediately onto the Google to search for anything, even if it's pertaining to our subject of veterinary. They just enter into the Google and then search for whatever it is. Even to find out a meaning for an English word, they go and search in Google. So, and earlier we used to have dictionaries, we used to read a lot of newspapers and all those kind of stuff. And unfortunately, we are not able to have those kind of things. You had brought out the importance of newspaper reading and knowing the current content. And you also said that it is important to read the yesterday's paper rather than today's paper, because that is where you should also keep a track of what is happening continuously like. So I was just telling that, the current generation people are not towards reading newspapers, and they for whatever things they have, they just go into the Google and search for either the current content or whatever news that they want to read. So the reading habits of newspaper is very, very important. And I'm sure that your talk, which is very, very simple, which anyone can understand that easily. So you have just definitely enlightened our students to have and understand the importance of knowing about the current content, as well as to also know about the newspaper reading importance. Thank you so much, sir. I think it was a wonderful session. As a faculty, I thoroughly enjoyed your session, and I hope the same to the students also. And we are very, very lucky to have such an eminent and a senior person like you to come and address all our students. And I'm also very sure that most of our students are also having, they have the vision or dream of becoming a UPSC aspirant. And with your words of wisdom and knowledge, I'm sure that you can see some more veterinarians coming up in the ladder in the future. Thank you so much, sir. And if students, if you have any kind of queries to ask, or if you want to have any kind of interaction, you can interact. And for those of students who missed it, these SAR's presentation will be available on the IDP of Tanva's YouTube also. So you can also see it 3-4 times to know much more wherever you want to stress upon, or wherever you want to have some more concentration to see that. So this can be again played, replayed, and then you can see that for your benefit. If you have any queries, you can I think there's a comment from Kritika. I think she's from Namakkal. Thank you so much, sir, for a great session on current affairs. So that's the kind of thing. And if anyone wants to ask, you can ask. Or probably, yes, sir. Or probably we will have these learned speakers coming out during the last day of the program, so that they can also interact with you to give more inputs to you.
My pleasure. My contact numbers are available. Any student can call me on phone if they have some query, some interaction. Sir. It is my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So nice of you, sir.